Welcome to the weekly UAP report, and oh my god have we got an episode for you today. We're going to talk about a swarm of UAPs spotted over the Langley Air Force Base in the US, terrifying threats received by UAP investigators Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, a National Archives article that gives the date of full UAP disclosure, and more. Are we ready? I think we're ready. Let's start. A number of mysterious drones have swarmed a high-security US military base for 17 days, leaving Pentagon officials stumped as to their origin. The Wall Street Journal have reported that the drones, which varied in size, flew in a fixed pattern for the 17-day period in 2023 over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. Intriguingly, apparently the drones were preceded by a much larger 20-foot-long craft that flew at approximately 100 miles per hour. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, snappy title, Chris Mellon, took to Twitter claiming that the motherships have been reported on multiple well-documented occasions by US government security personnel. Anyone knowledgeable on these matters knows that, suggesting that the drones were actually transported and released by the larger 20-foot-long craft. What really surprised me here was that the drones were nearly impossible to catch, despite the Air Force's vast resources, according to General Mark Kelly, a decorated senior commander at the airbase. The fact that the US government had strange drones hovering over one of their bases, they had no idea where they came from, and they were unable to catch them is pretty wild. Following on from our Langley Air Force Base story, a YouTuber named MattWhalen 892, link in the description, shared this incredible footage recorded just a few days ago over Langley Air Force Base, showing what looks to be a large craft or potentially numerous smaller craft hovering in formation in the sky. In a separate video, he films what looks to be an orb floating near the larger craft, which appears to vanish. These videos prompted Reddit user JosieJoe9423 to repost his recent sighting of a very similar object he filmed in August 2024 in Bogota, Colombia. Seeing these objects, I couldn't help but think of the recent mass UAP sighting in Palmdale, California, where something similar was seen. Looking at them side by side, I can certainly see some similarities here. I made a whole video about the Palmdale sighting, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. But coming back to MattWhalen's video, it's interesting to see this footage taken over Langley, given the drone swarms I talked about previously. Something weird is certainly going on over there. UAP investigators Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp have revealed that both have been targeted with death threats, following the recent whistleblower leak that put a name to a secretive government UAP program. The program, now known as Immaculate Constellation, is said to collect and quarantine information on UFO sightings and encounters. I covered this more in last week's episode, so check it out if you haven't seen it yet. In the latest episode of their podcast, Corbell and Knapp claim that the threats were received because of their access to classified reports relating to Immaculate Constellation. The pair went on to talk about the fact they both have dead switches in place, which is to say that in the event of their untimely deaths, the information they possess would be shared publicly for all to see. Elsewhere in the podcast, Corbell goes on to confirm that details of Immaculate Constellation will form a part of the upcoming November 13th congressional hearing. Reddit user Little Space Mochi shared this footage they recorded in downtown Toledo, Ohio, on the 12th of October 2024. The footage shows a very small white floating object which suddenly moves with incredible speed across the sky. I've seen a lot of reported UAP footage, and they often involve very slow moving objects, which I think are always easier to explain with natural phenomena. Sightings like this though, assuming they're real, become far harder to explain, as there's nothing that we know of that can accelerate to such speeds as quickly as this. I had thought perhaps it could have been a small mark on the camera, as it seems to fly as soon as the camera starts to move. However, on closer inspection you can see the object actually moves faster than the camera pans, edging nearer to the right side of the screen by the end of the shot. Let me know what you think we're looking at in the comments below. According to an article on the National Archives and Research Administration website, NARA for short, government agencies have been given a deadline of 20th of October to turn over all records they hold on UAP phenomena. It reads, the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act requires NARA to establish the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Records Collection. The law requires that by October 20th, 2024, each federal agency review, identify and organise each unidentified anomalous phenomena record in its custody for disclosure to the public and transmission to the National Archives. The Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Records collection will consist of copies of all government-provided or government-funded records relating to unidentified anomalous phenomena, technologies of unknown origin, and non-human intelligence. With the upcoming November congressional hearing, it'll be very interesting to see if anything does come out on the 20th, and whether that will impact the direction and the contents of the hearing. That's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to stay bang up to date with the latest happenings in the UFO and UAP world, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Until next time.